Hi Steve, Ray here. Going to show you a quick demo of the Ultrack GTS Tracker app. I'm going to apologize in advance if my video gets a little bit wobbly because my camera mount is a little bit loose here and stuff, but hopefully it'll be legible. I'm going to go ahead and start up the app. You'll see the icon in the corner there. You've seen lots of screenshots, so tap the icon. There's a nice splash screen, and we're right into the app. Good network, good GPS. It's going to contact the server after 2 GPS fixes. And there's the position sent. I'm stationary, so you can see the interval is at 15 minutes. Just going to go through a couple of the tabs here first. I'm going to shut my car off so it's not so wobbly. There we go. If I go to the map tab, it's going to pull in my map here. It shows the speed and heading at the top. I'm stationary, so it's going to show no heading. My Wi-Fi here in the driveway is a little bit questionable, so the maps may be slow to load. It's coming there. And then you see the coordinates at the bottom. The nice thing about the map is I can pinch to zoom in, and I can pinch to zoom out, and it'll always center on my position with each GPS fix. So again, the maps are going to be slow to load, but if I pan over a little bit, you can see once the GPS gets a new position, it's going to pull right back in. So it'll track as you drive if you drive in map mode. Settings, you've seen this screen before in the screenshots. Just want to point something out to you. The tracking ID, I have it hashed as a like a password field. That way, if anyone got a hold of somebody's Blackberry, they couldn't replicate their settings because the tracking ID is basically invisible. So a little bit of a security feature there. The preferences, the units for the speed, the stationary motion threshold, which I currently have it set at 5 kilometers per hour. Stationary send frequency is at 15 minutes. Motion frequency at 1 minute, and then time until stationary I've got set at 30 seconds. Display SOS button, of course, the on and off, and then you can set the time. The default is 30 seconds. You'll see if I turn this off and I go back, and it's going to ask to save the changes. Say yes. There, the SOS button is gone. If I go back in and turn it back on and go back, save changes, yes, there it is there. So that's the settings tab. If I go back into the info, you've seen the screen before. The Ultrack Solutions is a hyperlink, so it'll actually open up in the browser right to your website as you requested. And the email, again, if you click the email, it'll load up an email and start an email to you as well to that address. Back to the main tracker. So let's start the car and we'll go for a spin. First thing you'll notice when we start motion, it'll automatically send right away with the start code. And the timer will start counting down from 60 seconds because that's what our threshold is. Now, what might happen here is because I'm kind of on the border of Wi-Fi signal in here. When I start in the driveway here, it might actually not send, which is actually good because I want you to see what happens if it tries to send and it times out after 10 seconds. It'll actually start a retry cycle of every 15 seconds. I'm not sure if it'll do it here or not, depending on how it's timed, but if it does, I'll explain it a bit further. So let's start driving here and see what we can see. So as soon as we get up over 5 kilometers an hour, you can see sending positions there, position sent. So you'll see a little pop-up window there, a little toast they call it, said position sent, and you can see the timer started from 60-second countdown. And the status is motion. If I come to a stop here, you'll see stop pending and a 30-second countdown for that. That's for our 30-second wait until stopped. But if I start motion again here, you'll see that'll be canceled and it goes back to motion and it continues its original motion countdown from whatever was left from wherever the counter would have been at had I not come to a stop temporarily. So it's going to do another send here in a few seconds. And it shows you the countdown. Hopefully you don't get any glare from the setting sun here. And there, position sent. So I'm going to hang a left here. Okay, I'm going to take a stop here and I'm going to show you the stop pending again. So you can see there's 43 seconds left there, 42, 41. Okay, see the stop pending, it automatically jumped down to 30 seconds. The other counter is still going, so the 42, 41, it's still counting down. So if I start motion again, it's going to cancel the stop pending. You can see now it jumped back up to 28. So that was continuing the motion timer. So it's kind of handy. It just continues where it left off. And of course, if I stop, so there's 10 seconds left. If I stop here, I'll put it in park. So it's detected stop, and it starts from 30 seconds. So I'm actually going to let it count down from 30 seconds, and you can see what it does. You can see some info on there. The last send 6:21:19. Total send so far 3. Again, we have a stop pending with a countdown that's still at 12 seconds to go. So once this send occurs, because I haven't restarted, it should say, I think, motion stopped or stationary. So a motion stopped code would have been sent, and a 15-minute timer starts. So the next, in 15 minutes, if I stayed here, the next one would be just a stationary code. So let's start moving again. And of course, it's going to start send a start right away as soon as I go over 5 kilometers an hour. There you go. And I gotta wait for a car here, so it'll do another stop pending. And it's going to ignore that because I'm going to start moving here again. Motion. So it continues on its original countdown. Stop at this stop sign. I'll turn on the SOS for each year. So again, SOS, hit the button. It's going to ask you to confirm, activate SOS. So we're going to hit OK. That's going to go into SOS mode. So you can see it sends a position right away, and it says this mode is SOS on. Now it doesn't matter whether I'm stationary or in motion. It's going to send a status of SOS on every 15 seconds as set in the preferences. We get a 30 second frequency between SOS sends, and that'll just keep on going until we turn it off. Just going to send another one here in a second. There you go. And I'll turn it off here at this stop sign. And SOS off. Deactivate SOS. Okay, there we go. And it sent a position right away. SOS off, and it's going to carry on just as normal operation. Had a stop pending, but now we're in motion, so it's going to keep on trucking at its original countdown. I'll show you the map feature as I drive here, so click the map tab. If I zoom in to street level, should let it pan to our position here and download the map. There's a map. So you should be able to, it'll track as we drive. It'll keep our position centered, and it'll keep following us. And of course it has our coordinates and speed and heading at the top there. Coordinates at the bottom. Just go around this loop. We'll go back to the and see how that information, the position sent, it'll show up in any window. Doesn't matter if I'm on the map or the settings or the about tab. That little position sent toast, they call it, will show up. So that's kind of handy. We'll go back to the main tab here because it's more interesting to look at. Now for this demo, I've actually set my Blackberry screen to always on. It's on battery. Normally it would go to sleep after 30 seconds. But for this demo, I didn't want it falling asleep. But even if it does go to sleep, the tracking still continues. So it'll still keep sending positions just as if the screen was on. So it's still running the background, operating as normal. I can even minimize it. I can go to different apps. I can swipe up. I can scroll over. I can browse the web or whatever, and do anything. I can check email if I want to, whatever. Ultrack is always running the background. It'll keep doing its thing. As long as you don't close it down, it'll keep sending and doing its thing. And we're almost back. So that's about it. And it's going to do a stop pending here. Not much more I can show you, Steve. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think it's working very good. I'm happy with how it's working now. So yeah, I can't wait to have it on Blackberry World and see what kind of reviews it will garner. And maybe we'll put some cool new features in for version 2 as well. But as version 1 release, I think it's pretty solid. I think it works really well. And yeah, so there's your stationary now. So we're down to a 15-minute update. So I'll send this to you tonight, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. Thanks, Steve. Have a good one.